Archer and the Devil.
He was clapping, and he was like, every time I clap, a child in Africa dies. And someone in the crowd went, stop fucking clapping then. And different companies provide, like, if you go to Vodafone, then...
Is it a bit cheaper?
Yeah.
But
like,
only your left leg works.
Yeah.
Ding, done. Ding, down, gone. Ding, gone.
Welcome.
Welcome.
I just bit my tongue saying that.
You was that energetic?
I was that energetic. To episode 34.
34.
Of the Archer and the Devil podcast.
Hi.
What up? I don't know what I'm doing here.
I changed my outfit this week.
You did? You wore the same hoodie for like...
well, it's merch.
No, actually, no, it was
still on brand.
It was two different hoodies because one of them was a medium and one of them was a snug
Very
small.
true. I also didn't iron it, as you can tell, because I don't own an iron. So
I don't own an iron.
Nor me. I've got ironing water.
Who
for some
irons
reason.
clothes?
I've never...
There are people who iron underwear, and like, if you do, just don't.
I have ironing water in the cupboard for some reason.
For the iron?
Apparently.
Is it not just water?
It smells nice. I don't know.
Fair enough.
But it's in the bin now. Because I'm like, why do I need 5 litres of water for an iron?
For an item I don't have.
Then I don't have. Yeah, it's like having an engine oil and no car. It's like
That's true. I changed my oil this week.
Have you?
Yeah, it was a really nice day. What day was it?
All week?
Thursday was the first nice day of the year. So I cleaned my car, only the inside. I let the peasants clean the outside. I drive it down to them.
I washed mine today.
Did you?
Took me an hour to sit in the car wash queue.
Oh, no, what, do you go to the manual machine one or go to the humans?
I don't trust the humans.
I always go to the humans.
They're a friend of mine is a car detailer,
right? And
he's pointed out many issues with the methods that they use.
Right. Okay.
I.e., it's a $5.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Right.
Because they use the same bucket of water pretty much for 15 cars, the same sponges, the same wash mitts. And if you could have a dirty Great Range Rover that pulls in that's filthy.
And you roll up after it.
And it's the same shit.
It's like getting in pissy bathwater after someone's been in there.
And the chemicals that they use are not, that it's like TFR, which is basically what you use to wash trucks.
So you're advising taking it through a car wash?
I mean, the mechanical car wash that I use probably isn't much better.
Right, okay.
But it does a good... And I never used to use them because the big swirly things and all that sort of shit. But it just got to the point where it was winter. It was too cold to wash it.
I've never, ever taken my car through a car wash.
I never used to because, again...
Which is weird.
They never used to be very good, though.
But it's weird because when I was a kid, I always wanted my dad to take his car through the car wash.
Well, they never used to be very good. They'd always do half a job.
That's why I don't go, because of that. It's like, I'm just logistically thinking, you're not going to hit that bit, you're not going to hit that bit, you're half-assed that bit. But as a human, can look at line of sight and go, well, that bit... Like,
the one at Morrison's...
My
next
alloys,
level, mate.
Really?
Really good.
Okay, because my alloys need a lot of work.
Really good. And it has like special brushes. Because before it go, it would wash your car, the machine would, and then it'd wash half.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't do bits.
Yeah.
But this one's really good.
Really always, if I ever get, I've only got the inside of my car cleaned once and I cleaned it myself first.
What?
To the standard I want it cleaned. Because otherwise, they're just going to do that.
Right.
So I figured if I've got it clean first and take it in, then they have to clean the inside as well. And it's already at my level of cleanliness.
I'm not.
So now you're going to double up on that level of cleanliness.
Mine needs cleaning inside desperately.
Mine's never that bad. It's just cigarette ash and like mud from going on walks and stuff. Yeah.
Mud. And I just can't be bothered.
But it was, I felt better for it. Like I cleaned my car proper. My boots are already relatively organised anyway. And it's nice being in my car at the moment. It smells delicious. It smells like unicorns and rainbows instead of Marlboro and regret.
I never used to use the machines because same thing. They'll damage your paintwork. They're the big brushes. They don't get washed, blah, blah, blah. But then I realised that my car's got 338,000 miles on. So the paintwork's probably not in showroom condition anyway. Yeah. So it's like, well, I could spend an hour doing it myself, or I could just go to the car wash and it takes 6 minutes. Yeah, it cost me £6, £7, but I haven't had to do it. Yeah. And honestly, it's not a bad job. It is a good job. So I would recommend Morrison's automated car wash.
There we go.
If you want to use it. They've got the jet wash ones down there as well.
Unsponsored, by the way.
But that's the other thing with the jet wash ones that you do yourself. A lot of people use them that do like off-roading and shit like that. Yeah. So they'll go jet wash it, use the brush, and they're getting rocks and stuff off their car.
I've only used the jet wash once myself, and that was when I sold my Capri. And I used it on that. And the worst thing was it was the shiniest it had been since I owned it.
As you sold it.
And then I was like, I don't want to sell it now. It looks fucking beautiful.
It's always the way. I've done that so many times. And you put all the little jobs off, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
And then you're like, well, I'm selling it now, so I've got to do this.
Right.
I've got to do this. I've
Yeah.
got to do that. And you fix everything and go, I don't think I want to sell it now.
Because I sold it for way more than I bought it for as well. I think I spent $650 on it and sold it for like $3,000.
Really?
Yeah. So if you got a Capri, like now they're really expensive. When I bought it, I shopped around for 6 months.
Right. And then let it rot on your
Every
driveway.
day. No, well, yeah. But every day I shopped around for it. I looked on Auto Trader, on Craigslist, on like all of those sites, and then found it on eBay.
We haven't had car chat for it. Last car chat we had was with Jared.
Yeah, yeah.
Weren't it? And he knew what a Capri was.
Yeah.
Although it was the wrong Capri.
It was the wrong
But he
Capri.
knew what a Capri was.
I love that Capri. But I had like big ambition for it and no finance to do it because I kept going travelling.
Because travelling.
Yeah, so I sold it to my mate for $650, what I paid for it. And then just as I started thinking a couple of years after, like, I want to buy it back, I bumped into him in town and he was like, I've been meaning to see you. I'm selling my Capri. I was like, I'll give you 600 quid for it. And he went, okay. And I would have paid over. I would have, because I was like, proper, like, I want to get it back. So when he came to me first, I was like, I don't know. Go on, I'll give you 600. I'll do you a favour. And he brought stuff for it as well. So I fully ripped him off.
And then you sold it for $3,000.
And then I sold it for $3,000.
And not touched it.
No. But as soon as I brought it off him, I parked it on my mate's driveway because I didn't have room on mine. So it was out there for about 2.5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Never touched it?
Not once.
Just rotted?
Just rotted. And then we had to jumpstart it, drove it to mine, cleaned it all up and sold it. 2.5 grand.
You're unbelievable.
$3,000, sorry.
Absolute rip-off merchant. Or entrepreneur. Depending
Or
on how you
entrepreneur,
look at it.
yeah.
Absolute
I mean,
capitalist
the thing
bastard.
is, this kid who brought it, he was only a kid as well.
This is a guy that likes socialism. Do you know what I mean? Realistically, he should have sold it for what he bought it for. But no, you paid less, but sold it for more. You're a capitalist bastard, is what you are. Borderline communist.
Borderline communist.
I don't know what any of that means, but apparently, you're all the things that you hate about yourself.
I am completely.
You're a sellout.
I'm a walking oxymoron. I'm a paradox.
You are a sellout.
But I'm really pretty, so it's fine.
Can we, before we go any further about car talk,
Yes.
can we talk about the thing that we've been trying to talk about for the last 2 weeks? 2 weeks we've been trying to talk about this.
We said at the start of the last podcast, I was like, right, we'll talk about Neuralink, but let's start with Mars, and then never talked about
we
it.
just moved on everything else and off we
We
went.
spent more time talking about Chuck Norris than we did about Neuralink.
We actually did. We actually
Yes,
did.
we can talk about Neuralink.
Would you like me to explain?
I feel like our listeners who don't know,
Do you know?
and me who knows a bit,
Okay.
I only know what Elon Musk has said on podcasts about it.
Right, okay.
So, but by all means, educate me.
Well, I've looked into it a little bit more
Well, you've posted things about
because
it. and
I am
everything.
fully into it.
You
So,
are pro it, yeah.
for those that don't know, are you ready? Because this will blow your fucking mind.
Strap in, people.
Neuralink. Right?
Neuralink.
So, Mr. Musk has decided that he wants to change the world, as he always does.
As he does.
Because someone's going to do it,
Yep.
right? And you don't become the richest man in the world by...
Second richest
Why has he been overtaken again? By Jeff?
by Jeff.
No. Wounded.
Tesla lost some shares, so he's now the second again.
Really?
Yeah.
Having a little battle at the top.
Oh,
No,
no, yeah,
they text each other.
Just the two of them. I bet they would.
What's it like, Mr. Second?
Yeah.
You're like, I've only got 200 billion now. He's like, yeah, well, I've got 201, so screw you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The second richest person in the
Oh, I
world.
didn't know. That's breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news.
That could be our breaking news thing.
Okay, let me do it again. Breaking news.
Okay,
There we go. We'll clip
can
that.
clip that and put it on a button.
Okay, cool. I mean, I could just do it live now.
Doesn't
Can we
matter
do
now.
that?
You've done it now.
I think we can.
We're not doing it on the pod. Just
No, we could though, because that'd be cool. Right, you ready?
go on.
I need a button for it, don't I? This button. Are you ready?
I think you've go on.
Shh. Ready? Everyone ready? Breaking news. There we go.
Where's the button? Oh, it's that one now, isn't it? Go on.
Press it. Breaking news. I tell you what, I am a technologicalist genius.
I will make a visual to come up with it as well.
Call me Elon II,
No.
right? Because
Go
that
on.
shit
Tell your
was
story.
breaking news.
That actually is impressive.
See?
I do like that. And you were all here to witness the creation of it. Okay, let's not get carried away.
Anyway,
This is why you shouldn't be allowed new buttons or any buttons.
so Elon Musk has decided that we or us
as humans,
the
species.
human race, do not interface fast enough. It's basically how he described it. So
I guess when you're Elon Musk, you probably aren't.
Well, this is the thing,
but
right?
for regular folk,
because he's an alien, so he needs.
He's not an alien.
I mean, if there was ever somebody to point a finger at of a possibility of being an alien,
Dennis Rodman.
No, definitely Elon. Right?
Okay, go on.
So, he has decided, or scientists, or his scientists, or probably just him, to be fair, with his elders and his masters.
His elders?
Yeah, the alien masters.
Right, okay. Oh, okay, I'm with you.
He said that the human race and the way they communicate, it's even slowed down now, because we used to communicate with 10 fingers. Now we communicate with 2 thumbs.
Okay.
So it's even slower.
Well, I tend to communicate with my mouth, but fair.
In terms of technology.
I know.
Right. So in terms of technology, it used to be 10 fingers because you type on your keyboard. Now it's 2 thumbs on your phone, because that's the majority of people, technologically wise, communicate. So he wants to speed that up.
Too slow.
He wants to speed
He's got
that
shit
up.
to do.
And also to help a few people that are not very well.
Yeah.
So he's developed a thing called Neuralink. It's on the screen now. We could even put a link in the description if he remembers to a YouTube video or whatever. But basically, it's a little chip that goes into your head, right? So they cut out a circle of skull.
That's where you lose me, but carry on.
Right. So they cut out a circle of skull about the size of about a 5p piece.
Okay.
Yeah. And they attach a little chip into your skull, and the little wires go into certain parts of your brain.
Nope.
Yes.
No, I'm not saying no. It doesn't happen.
No, that's what happens.
As in, not my
Also,
brain.
a human doesn't do this operation.
Oh.
They've developed a robot
Of course they have.
to do this operation.
they have.
Streamline the process.
Okay.
So you could do it in your lunch break. You literally go in, sit down, the robot goes, yep, okay, cuts a hole, inserts it, puts the hole back, bang, done. You can even take the little bit of skull home with you if you want, in a little jar.
Just to change your mind.
Because it is reversible.
Push it back in. Oh,
it is reversible,
Okay.
yeah, if you want to take it out. So it basically, and it's got, which is a bit funny, it's got a USB charger, because you have to charge your brain.
So if your phone's dying, 1 second.
Hang on a minute. So if all of a sudden you're in mid conversation, you just go, it's because your chips ran out of juice. I think it's wireless. I think you have like a wireless charger around in your bed.
I can't believe you've got a USB charger in your head.
Yeah, but I think it's a wireless charger. But anyway, it's basically Bluetooth, and it works off. I'm assuming your phone. Possibly?
Yeah, but do you know when you're trying to connect to your phone, or like your headphones or something? Someone tried to connect to my car yesterday.
I have done that, but I'll remind me to tell you that story afterwards, because it's fucking funny.
Okay.
So anyway, it goes into your head, and what it does is any neurological illness is basically brain related.
Yeah.
Your brain works off electronic pulses and signals. So this chip replaces them missing signals. So if you're paralyzed or you've got any sort of nerve damage, because that's all nerves are, is electronic impulses through your brain. So if that gets damaged or cut, or for whatever reason,
Just going to link those things back up
so
again.
if Parkinson's, dementia, all they are is neurological diseases. So it's brain related issues. It can replace them. It will pick up what's missing and resend the signals, which effectively should give you a complete change of life. So paralysis, Parkinson's, dementia. He's even talking of depression, anxiety, all that sort of stuff. They're going to hopefully going forward be able to change and fix effectively, because it's just replacing the neurological impulses that are missing. So when we was watching him on a rival podcast that we won't mention the name of, the other podcast host said, will it get to the point that we will be able to communicate without talking? And he said, yes, right? Because effectively it's an interface as well. So going forward, you will be able to use it to transfer data.
It's so Black Mirror
from one to the
unreal.
other. See, I haven't seen that, so I don't know what that reference is. But he's basically saying you can interface or communicate with each other.
No,
That was me.
That's just sending me
The
shit.
way he explained
sending
it
me
was,
nudes.
so the way he explained it was, imagine you're an engineer, right? And you want to build a building or a bridge or whatever. So you as an engineer, you see it in your head. We all do. You know exactly what it's going to look like. You know how you want it to look. It's done. You're probably doing it right now.
Yeah.
So
with the bridge, but
Yeah.
it's not a full like painting or a photograph.
But then you I need to explain to you about this bridge.
So I can...
Right? So I would say, right, it's a bridge, it's this,
the
it's
file.
that, everything else, right? And then you would then translate that in your own head to how you imagine it to look.
Okay.
By what I'm telling you.
I'm thinking of a bridge right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you tell what bridge it is?
So I would explain it to you and you'd have to translate that, and then you might then translate it differently and then draw it down slightly different. So it's never going to be exactly the same.
I've just changed the colour of it.
But with the Neuralink, I could pretty much send you exactly what I'm thinking.
Do I have to be able to allow the file to be received?
I don't know.
Because otherwise,
they haven't done that
dick
yet.
pics that girls are going to get in their head.
But in theory, I would assume you would have to accept.
I mean, I would like to think there was some...
I think it's like AirDrop without the phone, basically.
So you still have to approve it.
So I'd assume so, yeah. You can't, because otherwise you just have a shit ton going on in your head all the time. But you can, going forward, that's going to be an option. So you could communicate like that without even speaking. And he said, how soon, because obviously they're concentrating on the physical side of things, fixing people's illnesses and all that sort of stuff first, which is...
That side of it, you can't argue.
Which is effectively what it's designed for. That's the whole point of it. But he said, how soon in the future do you think it's going to get to the point where people that have got the implants can communicate without talking? He went, in his usual Elon, I'm an alien way, and he went, 10 years.
Really?
10 years. And Elon doesn't fuck about.
That's terrifying.
Man's not got a massive sense of humor, so he's not lying. He was genuinely serious when he said 10 years. And they showed a experiment they'd done with the 3 pigs. Have you seen the 3 little pigs? So they had 3 pigs. One of them had got an implant.
Okay.
One of them had had the implant and had it taken out again.
Right.
And one of them didn't. So there was nothing. Right, so they showed you the one, he was snuffling around, blah, 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 doing pig things, blah, 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 fine. Then they brought the other one in, exactly the same as the first one. He'd had the implant and they'd had it taken out. Perfectly fine, no problems, normal pig. The last one, they'd set it up to a TV behind it, and every time he snuffled something, and he got that message back to his brain to say that he could smell something, you see a spike on the screen and it beeped. So it was picking up his smell signal to his brain and translating it to a TV, and it was making a noise every time. And every time he touched something, it was going, every time it went into something or touched something. And that was just one signal it was picking up. So it could have, if you wanted to, you could obviously translate that to whatever it needed to be.
That's insane.
And and he's also saying, like, you could then attach it to different parts of the brain to do different things, so you could amp things up. So you could be stronger, faster, smarter, whatever needed boosting, potentially, if you just put it to a different side of the brain.
But how could it increase muscle mass, I guess, unless you were sending electronic signals?
Well, you only use 10% of your brain power.
That's proven to be wrong.
Well, whatever it is, you don't use 100% of your brain.
No, you don't use 100%.
But you could turn off pain. You could turn off fatigue.
Yeah,
do
but
you know what I mean?
Sounds...
You could turn it up, you could turn it down.
But isn't that dehumanizing you also?
Well, it's not necessarily going to happen.
No,
but in theory...
And not only that, but what if your firewall breaks down and you can just start receiving everything?
Well, it works off the same as like... see, with Bluetooth, you can only send and receive. That's it. It's not open. It's not Wi-Fi, but it's open to everyone. It's one
thing at a time as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So look, I used to have a front door, automatic front door
it's
lock.
not one thing, because I can have like my phone, my headphones, my computer.
Yeah, but it'll only talk one to the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't. Your headphones couldn't talk to your soundbar.
No.
They will only talk to the phone or backwards.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I used to have a Bluetooth front door lock that I could unlock off my phone.
Right.
It was an automatic lock, and you would basically open the app.
That's fancy.
Turn your phone, and I could send you a key.
Right, okay.
And it would time out after 5 minutes.
Right.
So I could literally say, right, what time are you getting there? 6 o'clock. I could set the timer. You could download the app and you would receive a code that would activate the key for 5 minutes to let yourself in. And then it would deactivate the key after 5 minutes. So you could let yourself in, do what you got to do and leave, whatever. And it would tell you if someone else activated your lock or anything like that. But that was a mixture between Bluetooth and RFID. And RFID is radio frequency interface, which is basically what your chip and pin is and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And your, like if you have a key fob to get in a building, that's RFID and all that sort of stuff. And even that's only one-way communication, so it will only speak and receive.
Right, okay.
So you can't really hack RFID because it's not a signal as such. It has to be in very close proximity and all that sort of stuff. That's why you couldn't hold it here and the door would unlock. You have to touch it.
It's still, the whole thing just makes me...
But would you have it?
No.
No?
No.
Have we not talked about this already?
Maybe, but I've slept since then. And we've had new listeners since then.
I'm sure we have.
Probably.
Because I think I asked you that question
We
before.
definitely haven't spoken about it in this much depth
Right,
anyway.
okay.
So, no is my initial answer. I'm not saying never.
Right.
I would want to see it in practice. I mean, the thing is, I'm assuming it wouldn't be cheap anyway to have it done. And they would prioritise people who need it.
Well, the way they've streamlined it
Because
and everything
of
else,
health and whatever first.
I don't think it's going to be expensive.
But once it came to the point where you can just go to a store in town and get it done, I'd probably wait a couple of years before I was...
I'm in.
The things I'm very...
Day one.
I'm pro technology. Like,
Day one.
I love like new phones and new computers, and the way cars are going now are amazing. But it's in my brain.
Yeah, but it's also reversible.
It is, but that period where it isn't, because it's in my brain, is what worries me.
But I think it's. I want to say it's gonna happen inevitably, because it's not, because it's a choice ultimately. Do you know what I mean? People can either have it or they can't.
But the thing is, it's one of those things where initially maybe the first 50 years of it might be that, but at what point do you start? Like, can you police it? Can police now be in a position where they're like, "Did you do this?" and you're connected to their thing?
No, because I don't think that would ever be an option.
Of course it would.
No, because that's not how it works.
But that's how it wasn't intended.
Well, no, it's not how it works.
But
now,
the internet wasn't intended for that.
True.
And if you look at what the internet was meant for initially,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about
where it is now. And I think that's my worry. Is not that I'm hiding anything from the police specifically, but just in that instance, it could be because it's company owned as well. I think that's the thing. That's always my worry, is when if it's your email account and you tick that terms and conditions box, fine. But who's going to tick a terms and conditions box? Because you're going to have to say, yes, you can implant something into my brain. And now my thoughts can be hijacked. They're your thoughts as well.
Yeah, but isn't that already the case?
If you think that people snoop on your emails, that's one thing. Imagine people snooping on your thoughts.
But I don't know if that's how it works. I think it's literally transfer.
Right.
It's not storage.
It isn't, but if they created
I suppose you don't know what's going to happen in the future, do you?
Right, but if they created it, because that's the first one as well, it's not like they're not going to work on it after that. They're going to upgrade it, they're going to upgrade it, it'll get stronger, it'll get better, it'll be able to do more. So 10 years' time, they'll bring out the prototype for it. 50 years' time, who knows where it is by then, technology's got better.
I think they've just had FDA approval to go to human trials. Literally the last couple of months.
I think, like I said, if it was a matter of sending an electronic signal to enable you to walk now, I have no query. That's amazing that they've done that.
I mean, he didn't say that that's what it would be used for.
Yeah.
But the technology
can do that.
There's no reason why it can't.
Yeah. And if they were doing that,
they could just implant it into a different part of the brain.
Right. So
if
it can do that, then that's amazing. You can do amazing things with it. But as soon as you're sending thoughts across...
But I just think it's incredible.
That's where don't get me wrong. Like the fact that we have the ability to potentially do that.
Imagine the time saving
insane.
and the
I don't mind time.
Majority
that much.
of mistakes.
I'm not in a rush.
Majority of mistakes in this world are made by human error.
100% they are. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Very, very, very rarely does a machine go wrong to the extent where it is a massive issue.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously stuff breaks down, but in terms of it making a mistake,
yeah.
Very little.
And if stuff breaks down, it's usually due to wear and tear.
Because it's not been maintained by a human.
Or poorly produced. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's, in terms of computers, like how often does your phone go wrong?
Yeah, rarely.
Never.
Like rarely.
Never. And if it does, 9 times out of 10, it's
me.
It's
dropped
you,
a
you've
beer
charged
over
it, or
you've
gone on them dodgy websites again, or something like that. Do you know
They're
what I
only
mean?
dodgy if you look at it that way.
And I just think it just...
There are no dodgy websites, by the way, just to clarify.
There's loads of dodgy websites, but that's why you have an iPhone, so it doesn't allow the viruses to get in your phone. Life hack.
Life hack.
I was going to press breaking news, but it's
and that's what if you get like a virus as well? What if people try and hack it? It doesn't work like that now.
But I don't think it ever will because it's not.
People thought the internet wouldn't catch on.
Yeah, but ultimately, it's purely designed as a single user.
Again, but look at you're saying
to help your brain.
But you're saying this now.
But it can.
People would have thought the same thing about cars. People would have thought the same thing about the internet. People would have thought the same thing about phones. Any kind of thing that can be used and manipulated eventually at some point becomes so. And that's where my issue lies, is that, it's a phenomenal thing.
If it can make me a bionic man, I'm down.
If anything, it could be man's greatest achievement.
Imagine impotency. You just go, ping, up it goes. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm all right there, so I don't...
It's brain. That is, isn't it?
It is.
Ding, done. Ding, down, gone. Ding dong,
but that's,
ding dong.
But right, so what's, I mean, I can see what you're spending the first 6 hours doing.
I mean, isn't all things like that? Usually, like VR, when that first came out, what was the first ever VR video?
It was probably
a porn video. Yeah. Of course it was.
We were saying this before about the 3, because I haven't used what's it called?
Virtual reality?
Yeah, the goggles.
Yeah,
it's totally the VR thing, yeah. And porn is the biggest industry for that.
Of course it is.
Out the gate, it's the biggest industry.
Immediately.
And if porn aren't doing everything they can to make sure that they're there for it.
Who makes pretty much the most money off the internet?
Yeah, it is porn, yeah.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
What's majority of people's primary use for the internet? Porn.
I don't watch that much porn.
Yeah, but I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just saying
there are people who have like problems.
As a whole, people send text messages and look at porn.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Facebook
and porn. That's
videos.
pretty much, if you look at people's apps, the usage, I would imagine it's Safari and Facebook. That's it. Only because Pornhub doesn't have its own app. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure it'd be...
it not?
No. You can put it on your homepage. There's a bookmark, apparently.
So
you just press the icon and it opens the website.
You can make anything, you can make any web page be an icon. No, like I think it's a great thing. It's an amazing thing. It just worries me who's in charge of it, and that's my worry. It isn't the technology that worries me. It's the way, it's the technology going wrong, and who controls it.
I think if I probably put a bit more. See, I looked into this months ago.
Yeah.
So there's probably stuff I've forgotten.
No, I still think there's enough there to work off. You know what I mean?
In terms of, because that's the first thing people say is, what if it gets hacked?
And not only that,
which makes sense.
What if you have? Do you have to have a subscription? A different companies provide. Like if you get Vodafone, then
is it a bit cheaper?
Yeah,
but only your left leg works. But you don't have the premium package.
You can only run for 20 minutes, and then your legs just give up.
And then you get pop-ups every 5 minutes. Upgrade. You're like, fuck off.
Exactly, yeah. Like when you're having an upgrade, does it happen while you're asleep? Or like,
I don't know.
You're like, great, I'm useless for an hour.
I you're coming out to the pub. I'm just updating. Give me a second.
Like 1 second.
You get around it. Hang on, I'm just updating. My legs don't work at the minute.
And not only that, but would you need to watch a film, or could you just download it and just think it and go?
I don't know. That's what I mean.
But that's what could happen with it though. So imagine if you were just like at a point where it was like
you just sat there like that.
Like, have you seen Titanic? Hang on. Yeah, I have now.
But I think in reality, it's connected to your brain.
Right.
So there's no reason why, if you download an audiobook.
But you don't need to read it.
That's what I'm saying. It's just there. Bang.
It's
instant.
like you have the memory of it.
Because it's transferred into your brain. That's all it is.
So you never need to watch a film again?
It's like I need to learn Spanish.
Right.
I can now say hola.
And in that sense,
hola. Simple as that.
In that sense, because there's that whole thing in the Matrix where he's downloading. He's like, now I know karate. You know, he's like, I know kung fu.
I would imagine it's the same principle.
On that sense, because when she's like,
are you in now?
Yeah, dude. On that, when she got called up and she's like, I need things on a helicopter, and she's like, where Neo's like, can you fly it? And she's like, not yet.
Ding.
Right.
Now I can. Let's go, bitches.
So in that sense, it would be rad.
That's what I'm saying.
But also, going into like sport, for example, can you then like, okay, if you're this kind of athlete, you can't use that because it manipulates your ability to use. You know what I mean? Like if I'm a UFC fighter and just download every single form of combat. So I know now how to get, and I guess in that sense it comes down to, because if I know everything and you know everything, it's just down to physical ability.
When'd you go to Vegas gambling? Card counting, all that sort of stuff. Just instant maths expert. Okay, good, let's go. You know what I mean? NFL, something like that, you could learn every play from every team.
It's not even knowing every play, it's knowing
the probability,
the trajectory required.
Yeah, pinpoint perfect.
And the wind, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
The temperature, The grip.
It's going to be like, it's going to go, but then I suppose if everyone gets it, everyone's doing it.
Out.
Exactly. So,
but there'll be people who won't, because there'll be people now who think they're getting injected with Microsoft. So
True.
If those people are against it, but I guarantee they'll be the first ones for it as well, ironically. But no,
I'm in.
I know you're in because it's Elon.
No, even if it wasn't, I'm still in.
I think you're more in because it's Elon. I think you trust him more.
I think I kind of do trust him. I haven't. Is it
Don't worry, if I trust Elon more than if it was Jeff Bezos.
It's only because of the way he looks.
I would never.
It's only because he looks like Lex Luthor.
Like a master
That's
criminal.
What I'm saying.
But even so, I wouldn't trust him in the way he runs his company to not think at some point there's going to be subscription charge.
Elon looks like the person that you bump into in the changing rooms at the gym after a game of squash.
But I feel like that's what he's going for, because he's like...
And you'd walk in, have a conversation with him, walk out and go, he's a bit fucking weird, isn't
Remember that episode of The Simpsons? I think his name was like Frank Scorpio or something like that, who had an underground layer. He was like a Bond villain in it. But he was the nicest guy and really got on with Homer. That's Elon Musk. He's your best mate, but he's secretly a super villain.
I think he's like the anti-super villain. He's like the anti-villain.
So the hero.
Yeah, well, no, but not the hero, because he doesn't want to be the hero.
Right.
But he's the anti-villain.
No, I know
if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, he doesn't want to be a hero.
Like a vigilante almost. Like,
but he wants to change the world still, but not be...
Yeah,
the villain. Do you know what I mean? Like,
wasn't that what Mr. Freeze was in Batman? He started off as a good guy, then his wife died, so he was like, "Fuck everyone." Mr. Freeze.
Oh,
he's the one. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't remember that.
He started off as a nice guy, and then something went wrong.
What was it I sent you the other day regarding Batman? It was like, imagine being Jeff Bezos, having all that money
and not being Batman,
and not change, and having the ability to make massive differences in the world, and not doing it.
Yeah,
effectively, he's passing up the opportunity to be Batman.
Yeah, fuck Jeff Bezos,
the eccentric billionaire.
I haven't said it for a while.
Hi, Jeff.
Haven't said it for a couple of weeks, so just FYI, because we know you're watching, Jeff. Go fuck yourself.
I watched a thing the other day as well about Twitch. You know, we talk about Twitch.
You talk about Twitch, I just go...
They got offered $1 billion by Google.
Really?
Yep. To buy it out. And...
I would have assumed they're worth way more than that.
This was years ago. They're worth probably 15, 20 billion now. But when they was first going, Google offered them $1 billion. It got to the day before, and Google pulled out and changed their mind. Then Yahoo offered them 1.25 billion.
Right, okay.
And then they started talking, like literally the day before it went forward, and they went, "Oh no, we're going to change our mind because we don't match." They wanted to start using it for all different versions of streaming, whereas Twitch just wanted to keep it for gaming. Twitch is a live streaming platform basically for people that play computer games.
Well, you can live stream anything on there, but
primarily it's gaming.
Yeah.
And you basically watch other people play.
Because I know there's another YouTube rival channel who live stream reaction football videos. So they'll watch Manchester United versus Chelsea.
Right. Rival podcast.
Yeah. And they're on there now.
Yeah, they've moved to Twitch.
But they also play games on there as well.
Yeah. So they Yahoo decided they wanted to use it for beauty and all that sort of stuff. So Twitch went, no, we're not interested.
Yeah, because the thing is, if I do that, I guess someone else is just going to come up with a pure gaming one.
Well, exactly, and then it starts again. Yeah. But then, so then they said we need, as all billionaires do, these young startups. Have you ever watched The Social Network? Obviously, with
love that film.
So I don't remember if it's in that or if it was something else that I was watching. I can't remember what it was. But basically, they decide at some point, because they're all kids.
Yeah. So
they decide they need adult supervision, right? Because they're all running these multi-million, billion-dollar companies and they don't know how to run a business because they just had the idea.
Yeah.
And then basically Twitch, it started out as Justin.tv. That was the original name.
I remember that.
That was what Twitch was.
I didn't know that's what that was. Okay.
And because the owner of it is called Justin Can. And he started as, and then another guy got involved, a guy called Emmett, and then they come up with Twitch. So then they decided that they needed adult supervision, and the only reason I'm saying this is because it's $1 billion and we're talking about Elon Musk, if anyone's a bit confused. And then they decided they needed adult supervision, so they bought this company in that just deals with negotiating and deals and all that sort of stuff.
The practical side of it.
Yeah, bringing it full circle. They spoke to Amazon. Amazon said, yes, okay, we're interested. They offered them 1.05 billion. And like $250 million retention fee, whatever it was.
Yeah.
just as they was about to sign the deal, changed their mind and said, we're going to give you 970 million, not quite $1 billion. Twitch went, okay, fuck it. And now Twitch are owned by Amazon.
I didn't know Twitch were owned by Amazon.
Yeah. So basically, Big Jeff is also Twitch's boss. So it's pretty cool.
I think that is the thing, because
and now it's worth 15 to 20 billion. Twitch is. So Jeff, he's not all that stupid, is he?
I mean, he's not stupid. No. He's an evil genius. But the emphasis on the evil.
I don't think he's. How can he say he's evil?
Fuck that dude.
But anyway, so all that stuff fascinates me, all the business stuff and the entrepreneurship and all that sort of stuff.
No, it does. And like some of these businesses, like I remember MySpace. Like Tom from MySpace, everybody's best friend, because he was the first friend you made.
I was never on MySpace, but wasn't he automatically your friend?
That's what I mean. So he was everybody's friend.
Right, okay.
He was automatically your friend.
I skipped over Bebo and MySpace.
I didn't have Bebo because I was too old.
And then went straight to
MySpace. I loved MySpace. It's back now. Some 18-year-old kid who never experienced MySpace, and like the website isn't even the same anymore, has just researched it enough, so it's created basically a mirror of it. I can't remember what it's called now. But it's exact. I went on there and had a look at someone's profile. It's exactly the same.
Really?
Yeah. It's honestly, it's really kind of like but no.
As a fuck Facebook kind of thing.
No, I think almost as because a lot of people are going off Facebook, and I think eventually one company will come out now. The main reason people I think are on Facebook still is because all your shit's on there.
Well, and everyone else is on there.
Well, yeah, but if there was another platform where everyone else is, but it's getting people to move.
Saying that, people went to Instagram. And people went to Twitter, and these was new.
But they've still got Facebook though.
Exactly.
Facebook is different.
Yeah.
But I think if someone made one, because the thing is, even with Zuckerberg, like, I don't really dislike him, but I think I've said this to you before. Whenever I think of him, I think of Jesse Eisenberg and The Social Network.
And that's the reason that you like him.
I don't like him, but I don't dislike him because that's who I think of. I don't think of him. It's such a good film.
It really is. It's an inspiring film, I think.
Yeah, it is. And the score, like Trent Reznor from 9 Inch Nails did the music to it. And I think the soundtrack is phenomenal.
The Winklevoss twins became Bitcoin billionaires, you know.
Did they?
They took their settlement from Zucks.
Yeah.
Put it into Bitcoin.
Yeah, they were saying they sued him for intellectual property, didn't they?
And it's still no real figure of how much they got.
Yeah.
But they invested it in Bitcoin and now they're Bitcoin billionaires.
No, I think I watch that film at least once a year. Like, I love that film. It really is.
I love it. It just makes you want to go, I'm going to go and invent something. Fuck it.
I didn't realise that the dude from Napster was involved as well.
I didn't either.
Until I watched the film.
I didn't. I don't know how much of it is true, but I think he still owns shares in it. I think he's still an owner.
And there was the other dude who was played by Andrew Garfield who got fucked over. He plays Eduardo. He was the person.
Eduardo,
who put the money down initially, and he gets kind of like brought out of the company eventually. My tongue really hurts when I bit it on the welcome.
Okay.
I'm just...
But you hear loads of stories like that, don't you? Like people that was part of a company to begin with, and it's like Bono. Do you know Bono's got shares in Facebook?
Yeah.
And they're worth like $500 million or something like that.
I was watching this thing last week actually about a dude.
Is it Facebook or Apple?
Oh, Apple.
I think it's Apple.
He was initially, like for years, on Apple, when you swipe up on your iPhone on the music bit, and it had songs, artists, on songs.
It was always U2.
No, it was his face. That was the logo.
Was it really?
It was a dude with a microphone.
Because they put their fucking album on everyone's phone, didn't they, overnight, whether you wanted it or not as well. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Fuck Bono.
I love U2, so I didn't mind it.
I don't really like any of their songs.
I love
Do you know what?
U2.
Fucking Beautiful Day. I fucking hate that song. I hate that song.
I'm more of a 90s U2 fan.
I think that's ruined it for everything else for me.
There are people who loved U2 in the 80s, and then in the 90s they completely like changed their style. They had like 3 albums in the 90s and went quite... But the 91, they released Atom Baby, which was quite industrial almost. And then Zooropa was a bit more everywhere. Pop was a bit everywhere. They went back to where they started. And then they released the album on everyone's phone, which I get when you're in that meeting thinking, everyone's got it then, it's great.
I mean, if you can, you're not going to say no, are you?
But what you should do is let people have the option.
To not accept it.
Yeah, like have a thing, do you want to download U2's album?
It's free, yes or no. Yeah, not
just wake up one day and go, why is U2 on my phone?
Oh, you don't even know, and you just shuffle it. You go, what the fuck's this?
Yeah. The thing is as well, it wasn't that great an album. Like, as a U2 fan even, there was one song on there called The Miracle of Joe Ramone, which was a banger, but the rest of the album was all right at best.
Fuck Bono.
I mean, I like Bono.
No, I don't know.
I get why people don't like U2. I fully understand why people don't like Bono as well. Did you ever hear that thing where he was clapping and he was like, every time I clap, a child in Africa dies? And someone in the crowd went, stop fucking clapping then. And apparently that legitimately happened. which is amazing.
Makes sense.
Just makes sense.
It's that doctor joke, and every time I press here and here and here, it hurts. Oh, you broke your finger.
I haven't heard that one.
No.
I like that one. I like that.
Or I used to say to my mum and my nan, every time I move my leg, Nan, my leg hurts. She's like, "Well, stop moving your leg then."
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's just no sympathy.
Right.
Just stop doing it.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, that's.
But no, so I do get what people.
brilliant.
But I do think going back to Neuralink, it would need to come out. It would need to be a thing first, and I'd have to research it extensively.
Where do you stand on? If we might as well have a technological podcast.
Might as well.
Where do you stand on Tesla in terms of the electric vehicle?
I'm cool with that
Situation.
but I do think the resources they're using to get the stuff they need for the batteries, because there was a thing. I was having this conversation last week actually, where they found out that vegetable oil can like be used to make a car work. There's better ways for me to say that, and I've just forgotten language.
You mean instead of diesel
or petrol, right? So you can use vegetable oil.
You can do that now. I could put vegetable oil in my car, and my car will run off it.
And that is
that's been around for forever,
right? But that's a better environmentally way of
because
doing
your car
things.
smells of chips.
Does it?
Yeah, if you use old chip shop fat.
I didn't know you could use it. Like actually could use it, but yeah. So that's environmentally better than using lithium batteries and stuff.
Well, because you're recycling the product basically, but it's still giving out emissions, which is what they're trying to cut.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. It's a double-edged sword, because if you're drilling for fuel, for oil to get the fuel,
yeah,
you're causing damage and you're giving out emissions.
right.
If you're doing batteries, yes, you're still damaging the environment,
But there's no emissions.
but there's
coming
no
out.
emissions.
Yeah.
So automatically, you're 50% further along.
I am for it. I think eventually we're going to have to move that way. I think unless there's another solution, like solar power cars or something, they charge it while there's daylight and then.
Well, I think companies are working on hydrogen.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was. I think it might be Ford or someone is doing a hydrogen, which is basically it emits water as its emission. That's it.
The only thing will be I like the sound of a car.
But you still need it's still gas, so you still have to put fuel in it.
Right.
With
okay.
hydrogen, obviously.
Yeah.
And there's what was the
How
other?
do you stand out? Because you're a much more car person than I am.
I'd have a Tesla tomorrow.
Right. Okay.
I just, again, because it's whenever I see somebody driving, I'm sure we've discussed all this before, but when I see someone driving down the motorway in a Tesla, I'm like, bastard, it's not costing him a penny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm jealous of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like you would as well. I mean, when I was younger, I would have been dead against it, because I wanted to hear the noise, and I wanted to hear this, and I wanted to hear that. But now I'm older, and I'm thinking, well, all my car's doing effectively is costing me money.
Do you not think that same logic can be translated to meat and vegan food?
How?
In sense of
It's the fuel.
No, but in sense of like you were saying when you were younger, you were dead against it because of these reasons. But having the same reasons that as long as you can fuel yourself well, and if it was cheaper and environmentally better, wouldn't you go vegan?
No, because it's not the same.
Okay. Just throwing it out there.
It's not the same taste, is it? Or the same?
It's not the same drive.
But it is. It's still like you're still in a car getting from A to B. Just probably more luxurious, faster,
You're still eating food. You're still
and
going to
cheaper.
put energy in you.
If vegan food was a quarter of the price,
Yeah.
possibly.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? If I could go, right,
You heard
that burger's going to cost
heard
me
that.
£2.50,
Yeah.
or the vegan one's going to cost me 50p,
Yeah.
then it's a different argument.
Okay. All right.
Because then there's a genuine reason
to
change.
The thing is, meat should cost more, but they get lots of like stuff from the government to allow it to be cheaper, because technically meat should cost a lot more.
Just because of the process and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's.
But no, I'm all for electric cars. It doesn't bother me at all.
I think it's only a good thing.
I want that car in Back to the Future that runs on garbage.
I don't agree with the whole we're only going to have electric cars. The rule by, is it 2030, 2035?
2030.
I don't agree with that. I don't think it should be.
No, it's not that you have to have one. They start producing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So eventually, you're only going to be able to buy an electric
Right.
car, and I would imagine the taxes and the levies and everything else on
Are gonna
combustion
benefit
cars
to do that.
are going to go sky
Yeah.
high.
So you can still
have
keep
to
a
have an
petrol
electric
car.
Yeah,
Well-
but it's going to cost you a shit ton
Yeah.
to run a petrol car.
Yeah.
Because the more people using it, the price of oil is going to go up. The price of petrol is going to go up. So it's inevitably going to be more
the thing is, though,
expensive.
again, I mean, by the time everyone is having electric cars, we'll be dead.
You say that, but I think when that hits that they're only making electric cars, that's only
but how many people
15 years away.
Agreed, but how many companies now will up their production of petrol cars?
Well, Jaguar announced last week that they're only making electric cars now.
Really?
Yeah, their whole Jaguar plant in Castlebron they will only make electric cars from now on. So the big days of the big V8s and the XJ and all that, they've all gone. So the V8.
I mean, if anything, I would think just make a fuck ton of them, like double the production, so we have more cars to sell.
Yeah, but nobody's buying cars either, are they? Because they're holding out for an electric one. Well. Yeah. So Jaguar have announced that. I think there's a few other companies that are now bringing electric cars, like Ford are doing the new. Have you seen the new Mustang?
No.
From Ford?
No.
It's electric.
It'll be on screen, but I'll have a look at it.
The Mach-E.
Right, okay.
It's basically, it's all electric.
I mean, it doesn't really bother me. Like, it doesn't, I'm not
There was uproar on that.
I'm not a purist of cars, you know what I mean?
There was uproar that Mr. Potato Head got his mustache taken away.
Fucking, honestly, I can't believe I've read 2 news stories. One being he's now cisgender or whatever the term is. And then, no, he's not. We're going to keep him a man. He's a fucking potato for a start.
Also, when was the last time anybody had a potato to get that fucking wound up about it?
Honestly, if you were angry, I think I put a post up about it. I saw it on Lab Bible or somewhere.
Isn't it more of an American thing in a way? Did you ever have a Mr. Potato Head when you was younger?
I think Toy Story probably.
That's what I'm saying. I don't remember having it as a toy.
But even if I did, it's a fucking potato toy.
I don't get that angry that they've took the mustache off and then the Mr. away.
I get more angry I get more angry that people getting angry about it than I get angry about the thing.
But the first comment that you see is fucking snowflakes. The definition of a snowflake
is offended by something.
Is being offended by something that's not really that important.
Yeah.
So if your life consists of being so mad about a potato no longer having a mustache and not being called Mr. Potato anymore, I mean, you should probably get out a bit more.
There was a thing about how at the start of certain Disney things on Disney Plus, I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was the Muppets.
Oh, they give the warnings.
They give the warning at the start, and everyone lost their shit about that. And I'm just like, you don't even have Disney Plus, I guarantee.
Yeah, because Mrs. Piggy and Kermit are whatever they are.
Yeah, they were just
relationship.
They put a warning at the start just to warn you. Some of these things haven't aged well, basically.
Yeah.
The same as Breakfast at Tiffany's. When you look at that on things now, it says some of the things in here, because Mickey Rooney played a Chinese guy. He wasn't
same
a Chinese
as Friends,
guy.
but it's like 20, 30 years old.
Right.
It was still offensive, but it was more accepted then.
Yeah.
And now it's not.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, let's just ban it all. Let's just inform
watch
people that
Right.
if you've never seen this before and you think that it's new, just to let you know it's not.
Yeah.
And we're not all pieces of shit.
Right.
And
we're trying not to be. We're trying our best.
you know what I mean? And it's a bit, it's like...
It's not news. It's not. But the problem is...
I can't imagine anybody getting that offended by a joke in Friends.
But also, the problem is that the narrative is perpetuated by being a news story, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because is the problem that they're doing it, or is the problem that why is this news? Why am I being told that Mr. Potato Head is now not Scarlett's doing the thing?
Just trying to let herself out.
Yeah, like, why do I need to know that? Because
I'm pretty sure if you went to the toy shop and you seen a potato head on the shelf, you wouldn't go, here, love, love. They've took his mustache off, love. She'd be like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's just a potato now. There's no mister. Oh, my God. Pick up the phone and phone all your mates. And they'd all be like, what?
Yeah, why are you telling me this?
What? I don't care. Like, I'm not 6. Like, I don't give a shit.
Does the moustache come separate now?
But because it's on Facebook and they can share it easy and be disgusted by using their thumbs to type, now all of a sudden it's a big deal.
Imagine what it's like when they can put that hatred straight into your brain.
Blink.
You're like, oh, mate.
Blink. Like, oh.
Dating would be completely different as well, wouldn't it?
Back to Neuralink.
Yeah.
Well, I watched Demolition Man the other day.
Fucking rad film.
Right. So,
I love that film.
So when she says, I would like to go back and have sex with you, and he goes, okay.
Yeah.
Sits down and she puts the thing on, and she's all like this. And he's like, what the fuck's going on? Neuralink.
Yeah.
Basically Neuralink.
I was thinking about that when you were about the petrol car, because I've got that one car they find.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what it'll be like. You'll find a petrol car somewhere. There's no way that car would have ran like the way it did either.
Also, it won't be like an old classic. It'll be like a Corsa or a fucking Volvo or something like that. And you'll be like,
100%.
oh my God, it's a petrol engine. And you'll pull it off and it'll be a Cortina or a fucking Escort.
Just stutters its way out.
Yeah.
There's all the brake fluids gone to shit. Like...
Oh God, it's like a Toyota Prius. Oh, for fuck's sake! I thought we'd burnt all these.
Yeah, but I mean, it's interesting because in Tokyo they've just built the smart city.
Okay, what's that?
I should have researched it more,
Right?
Because I only read that. I think I've actually like bookmarked it to read up about it.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't yet. But basically, they've built the first smart city. So I think in terms of the roads, in terms of everything, is basically done in a modernized way. Because the problem is, I think with all production of anything, rarely is a place built from scratch.
Not anymore, no.
You know what I mean?
Not really.
There's the one in Qatar.
And even if they are, they're built in traditional ways.
Right. Which...
Because it's cheaper and all that
Well,
sort
the
of
materials are already there.
Exactly.
So, but what would it be like to build one from scratch in terms of not just building...
And needs for now rather than
Yeah, absolutely.
20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Because housing estates are still built like that.
Yeah.
They're still built for the needs of people when housing estates was first starting to be built.
Yeah.
They're just slightly different due to modern day rules and regulations as opposed to needs and wants.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you don't need half the stuff that you get now in new houses, but they put it because it's traditional.
Yeah, but if you think like even just stuff like guttering, like if you rethought guttering,
Yeah.
or stop signs, or you know what I mean, just all of those things, it'd be interesting to see what people came up with, especially people who have, you know, like civil engineers and stuff like that, who spent time doing these things day to day and going, you know what, this would be better if we...
And you know there's people like that.
100%
because
there's people like that.
People that must be architects and stuff like that, and they're like, I wish we could do it this way because it'd be so much better.
When you've built houses and stuff like that before, I'm sure there's bits where you're like, you know what, if we did this, it'd be a lot easier.
It'd be way better, but we can't do it that way.
Right, because this is just how we do it.
If you just done this way, it'd be... And that's what people do. They buy the house and then they modify it.
I'd love that. I want a smart house.
Well, I was looking at my house the other day and I've bought my Wi-Fi kettle.
Right.
So I can now turn my kettle on via Siri.
Yeah, because you did it last week or the week before.
Yeah, I just turn the kettle on and it comes on. I just tell it to come on and then she pops the kettle on for me.
Aren't there like laundry machines now that send you a text message?
Well, I've also got Wi-Fi on my fridge that tells me if there's something wrong with it. It's for diagnosing issues.
Okay.
So it'll connect to the Wi-Fi and go unbroken. I'll be like, okay, cool. And I've also got Wi-Fi on my tumble dryer. I've got a new tumble dryer. That's also got Wi-Fi on. So I can basically just flick the tumble dryer to Wi-Fi mode and on all the controls and the settings on the dial and now on my phone. So I could go and turn it on, turn it off. But I don't really see the point of that.
Because you still have to load it manually.
You've still got to put the washing in.
Yeah.
So if it sent a little bot to come and empty the washing machine, then worth it.
Yeah.
But all it's doing is, I don't have to do that.
Look,
I just have to do that.
The kettle The kettle makes sense.
Well, I live in a 3-story house as well.
So if you're in bed...
Or even in the living room's the floor above.
Yeah,
so I can literally just press the button.
Come down. When
say,
it's ready to make...
Hey Siri, switch the kettle on. And she turns the kettle on. And then it's boiled by the time I go downstairs.
Right, so it's one trip rather than two.
And I can set it to an alarm.
Yeah, but that's going to start. You know WALL-E? You know the Disney film WALL-E? When all the humans had to leave.
Yep.
And then they're all just big, chunky-ass things.
Yes. Oh, yeah, on the spaceship.
Yeah, like the bones of lacked entity. They haven't walked or done anything other than everything being done for them. They press a button, a little fucking a meal shake turns up. That's where we're heading towards.
Yeah, but I'm fully for that.
Who needs bone density anyway?
If I can work from home, I'm down.
Yeah, no, but working. I mean, I think the last year has proved that people can work from home.
Well, there was a thing I seen. Still on the technology vibe, I guess. There was. I don't really understand it. Again, you don't have to clickbait, whatever. And it said because of those lockdowns been announced that it's coming to an end and everything else.
June 21st will eventually as back to normal as normal.
So they're saying
Scarlett, get down.
They're saying that bosses, workers are going to start end up having arguments with their bosses because they don't want to go back to the office.
Yes.
I don't know how true that is. I don't know if people are actually going to be arguing about it. But, and again, I'm sure we've had this conversation before during last lockdown where I don't see that as a bad thing because everybody bangs on about these days mental health, work-life balance, all that sort of stuff. Working from home has its benefits and it has its downfalls. I think you're more productive if you're working at home.
I think working from home when all you have is working from home, i.e. a lockdown, yes, it's going to be detrimental because you don't leave your house. You're not getting the perks of a lockdown. All you're doing is working.
Yeah.
And then you finish work and
you're at home. Yeah. But if you're not in lockdown anymore,
you can still go to the restaurant, you can still go to
you
the
haven't
pub,
got to do the commute.
people.
You can take your kids to school.
Absolutely,
you can do all that you couldn't do.
Yeah.
You're not as stressed because you're at work already. You've not sat in on the train or whatever. Yeah. Also, if you think about it from a monetary side of view, if you've got a massive office with 4,000 people in,
your overhead's going to be insane.
You could immediately downsize,
completely,
halve it. Yeah. And then just say, right, all week now, for 3 days a week, you've got to come to the office. And then just alternate it between people.
And you can have 2 different businesses running out of the same offices as well.
You've got half the amount of people. You've got happier people. They're still earning the same money. Yeah. They're probably earning more because they're commuting less.
They're not going to lunch as much.
Exactly. I can't really see any downside.
I understand. My sister works in Canary Wharf, and she put a thing up a couple of weeks ago on her story saying she really misses office life and misses getting dressed up and stuff like that. I'm like, I get that because of everything else. You don't get any of the perks. You're still having to work, and you've been working now for a year from home, and no restaurants, no bars, no gym.
I will guarantee nothing. When she goes back, she'll be like, thank God it's Friday. Yeah, I can't wait to go home. It's Friday.
Like as soon as all the people who are working still from home, as soon as you're back after about a month, initially you'll be like, fucking, I miss this. But once
it's only going to last so long.
Remember when you started your job and you loved it?
Yeah.
How long before you went, I'm just paying bills?
But if you know you're going back and you've only got to do 3 days a week.
Exactly, yeah. You've still got the office banter or whatever it is. You're fucking...
But just for a couple of less days?
Water cooler talk and all that bullshit. Still flirt with people. Still steal all the supplies and everything. But
routine's still there.
Yeah, but you still get the benefit then.
Yeah. I think obviously not everyone can and not everyone's going to get the benefit.
It depends on your industry and everything else.
I can't really see a downside to it. And I can't imagine why bosses would even argue it. I mean, if I was in that position and I could see that productivity wasn't down and work was still getting done, then I don't get why anybody would go, actually, no, I need to keep all this electricity on, I need to keep all these lights on. You know what I mean? I need to get all this food and the canteen and all this stocked up for all these people, all the car parking spaces. It just cuts down everything immediately.
It cuts down traffic as well. Roads have been amazing during lockdowns. Not so much now. The first lockdown especially.
Oh, well, the first lockdown, nobody was out, was there?
But like, if I was only driving to go for a walk, just to clarify, I wasn't just like going on a tour of the fucking country. But whenever you were driving anywhere, if I had to go back into work as well, because I work in Birmingham, so we had to go and just clear the pub out and stuff like that initially. And I got to Birmingham in like 20 minutes. Well, no.
It's crazy.
What's the legal limit that I would have been?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but quickly. I got there quickly. I just
think it'd be you'd be a mad boss not to listen.
Yeah, and I
really do.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I do think this year has proved a lot that capitalism doesn't have to be as insane as it has been.
We was just talking about then about building houses and stuff like that. That's the way business is done because traditionally that's how it's always been done. Yeah. But there's this lockdown and the pandemic has proved
that tradition is the enemy of progress.
That it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. Businesses haven't shut down. Some businesses have thrived.
Yeah.
And they're still working, if not more.
I think the businesses that have been fucked are the ones who didn't really get the assist from the government.
Or they didn't move with the times.
And they
just go, no, it doesn't work.
But there's been some. So, for example, my business where I work has been closed since March 23rd. We can't open again until June 21st.
No, but that's specific industries, isn't it?
It is. And the help from the government hasn't been there. No. Obviously, like the owner has to pay whatever he has to pay, be it business rates or...
and furlough stopped now as well, which I don't agree with either. I think certain industries, they should have been allowed to carry on with
but I'm not getting furloughed anymore because he's starting to pay tax and national insurance and pension contributions where he's getting nothing in. So if all last month...
There's just no way around that, is there? Do you know what I mean? There's literally no way around. There's nothing he can do.
There's don't give your mate 100 million contracts.
No, I mean, not from the government. I mean, from the boss. There's nothing he can do to try and...
Look at the camera.
To try and change his industry.
No, she's gone.
To even, like people moved into delivery and all that. You can't even do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, local restaurants managed to stay open.
Yeah,
and they were doing deliveries and takeout and all.
Yeah.
But you can't even do that because you're not allowed to do the takeout beer and all that sort of stuff. So I think there was...
Well, there was talk for a while of them stopping alcohol, and it's like, that's not going to work. Though I will say, the last year, my alcohol intake has decreased significantly.
I do think it's mad in terms of a country that our whole kind of life has been based on what day we can go back to the pub.
Yeah. I don't
Like,
really-
literally, that's been the number one. Not when can we go out.
The funny
when can we
thing
see our
is
families? When can we go back to the pub?
The past week, everything I've seen is like 21st of June, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm like, mate, 21st of June is a Monday. You ain't doing shit.
And
Like,
also, you didn't do that before lockdown.
Yeah.
So what's going to change?
yeah, like the amount of people who are like, I'll never say no to an invite again. I'm like, yeah, you will. I bet you can't wait to go, sorry, I'm washing my hair tonight, or whatever it fucking is.
It's just, I don't know, man. It's just,
I get it. I think it's almost like that's the pillar of normality.
going to the pub.
Once I can go to the pub again.
But if you think about it, anything that happens, even if you don't go to the pub, even if you're not an avid pub goer, somebody dies, funeral, where'd you go? Pub.
Wake is in the pub, right.
Wedding, what'd you do?
Go to the pub.
Go to the bar. There's a bar. There's always drink involved.
If you're meeting up with someone you haven't seen for a while, what should we do? Let's go for a drink.
Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily, because I don't drink, so I might not go to the pub for 6 months.
Yeah.
You go to a funeral, oh, it's in the pub. Okay, then
Yeah,
fair
yeah,
enough.
yeah.
Everything's kind of measured.
But not only that,
with
but even
alcohol
going
involved.
to a pub meal or something like that, or going to a pub quiz, or
Imagine
it hasn't got to be.
Imagine if there was we're going to do you want to meet up for a drink? Yeah, okay. Do you want to meet up for a game of squash? What?
Yeah. Well, my mate,
What?
the reason I got into rock
Do you want to
climbing.
go for a swim? What? I haven't seen you for 6 months. Yeah, but should we go for a swim? No.
But my friend, honestly, like we planned to hang out, and we'd never really hung out before. And she was like, "Do you want to go rock climbing?" And I was like, "What?" But I was like, "Fuck it, I'll go now." I love rock climbing, and that was on the back of her asking that rather than. I mean, we go to the pub a lot.
Maybe we should do that next when we were allowed.
We'll go and do something.
We should start doing something new.
Should we do squash?
We can play squash.
Squash is exhausting,
We
man.
can go swimming.
I can't swim.
You can learn.
I can
You
drink.
can go in the baby
I can
pool.
watch you the baby pool.
You can go in the baby
Get
pool
my,
and just paddle around a
my
little bit.
floats on.
Yeah,
What are they called? Your armband things.
Your armbands. You can just waddle. Just
what are
waddle
they
around. We've come to the end.
Have we?
Yeah.
Did we start that? Did we start? Okay. Yeah, we were pretty-
almost bang on an hour.
Oh.
So that is the end of episode 34.
In the bag.
In the bag. We will, as always,
We didn't get 1 million views on the last video.
We didn't.
Remember how I said recommend it to someone?
Also, remember when you said you changed your name and that never happened either?
We didn't get 2 million views.
Absolute bullshit.
Someone brought it up to you the other day, actually, saying like we need to get 2 million views. It didn't happen. So I'm no.
I mean, I'd forgot almost immediately, but
So did I, to be fair. I remember.
I've only just remembered now because you said
it
that.
was when I was editing it. I was like, oh yeah, that didn't. Yeah, that didn't
But
happen.
no, it's all good. But no, thank you very much for your support. Keep on sharing, keep on liking, keep on
With
commenting.
Spotify, Apple, all those
Everything.
places.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
And we will see you next week. As always, drink plenty of water and
Go lick everybody.
See you later, bye.
Bye.
bye.